I was 19, optimistic, and probably too trusting, which is, apparently, the perfect combo to be emotionally sideswiped by a walking red flag in sneakers. We met online. Nothing dramatic, some decent back and forth texting, a couple funny memes, and just enough charm to convince me he was worth meeting in person. No love bombing, no weird vibes. Nothing that set off my internal "he'll leave you in a parking lot one day" alarm. So when he suggested we hang out at a nature park near our city, something casual, relaxed, and public, I thought, wow, an actual thoughtful first date. In this economy? Sold. The day of the date, the sun was out, the breeze was gentle, and I put on my best. I didn't try too hard, but I still look amazing outfit. He picked me up right on time. Not late, not early, just punctual enough to make me believe he had a functioning adult calendar in his brain. We drove to the park, made small talk, and honestly, it was going well, like suspiciously well. We talked about school, favorite music, bad customer service jobs. He laughed at my jokes, not in a forced way, but in that, I actually enjoy your company kind of way. I wasn't thinking about red flags or gut feelings or tracking his micro-expressions. I was just enjoying myself. And the nature walk? Perfect. Shady trails, light conversation. Enough distance between us and the world to make it feel personal, but still casual. We weren't holding hands or anything. It was the kind of first date that felt promising, like the next time we'd see each other, it'd be even better. Of course, that was before Best Buy. As we were heading back to the car, he said he needed to use the bathroom. I said, same, because, well, I'm human and I drink iced coffee like it's my job. He offered to drive us to the nearest place with public restrooms. A Best Buy not too far away. I was like, cool. Quick bathroom break, and then maybe the date wasn't perfect, but it felt comfortable enough that I could actually see it going somewhere. He parked, we both got out, and we headed in. I used the restroom, came out and waited near the front, where we came in. I checked my phone, thought maybe he needed a minute. 5 minutes passed, then 10, and I stood there like a polite idiot in a nice top and lip gloss, completely unaware that the date had already ended, and I just hadn't been informed yet. Best Buy. Of all places, romantic? No. Functional? Sure. The site of my first date disappearance? Apparently yes. After the nature walk, he seemed totally normal, still making jokes, still smiling. No weird tension, no cold shoulder, no indication that I was about to be emotionally mugged in the most Midwestern parking lot imaginable. I gotta pee real quick, he said, tossing me a casual smile like he was about to return with a bag of snacks and a plan for dinner. Same, I said, and hopped out of the car. We walked in together. He headed toward the restrooms in the back corner. I remember checking my makeup in the mirror, fixing a loose hair, and thinking, this is going better than expected. I might actually have to unghost his contact card later. I walked out. The store was quiet. I stood off to the side by the checkout area, scrolling through my phone like anyone would. 5 minutes. No biggie. Maybe he's waiting for a stall. Maybe he's a sit-down kind of guy. I was still feeling normal. 10 minutes. Okay, weird. I paced a little, double-checked my texts. No messages. I tapped out a quick, hey, everything good? It didn't go through. Huh. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he left it in the car. Still trying to stay chill. Still trying to not jump to the I'm being ditched conclusion, because surely no one is that bold. Especially not in public. Especially not after a date that felt that normal. 15 minutes. Now I'm officially annoyed. I walk back toward the restrooms, figuring maybe he's playing with some tech. Maybe got distracted by a wall of gaming headsets or something. Not. Then I do something I never thought I'd have to do on a date. I go outside to check if the car is still there. Plot twist. It's not. The space where we parked is empty. Like clean sweep, zero trace, Gone Girl level empty. I stand there blinking, trying to wrap my head around the fact that I have literally just been ditched at a Best Buy. Not ghosted, not left on red, not slowly faded out over a week of sorry, been busy. No, abandoned mid-date in a parking lot like I was a broken printer. He didn't want to deal with anymore. And I don't mean to be dramatic, but there is something spiritually humiliating about realizing your first date took you to a retail store not as a pit stop, but as a drop-off point. At this point, I'm not just shocked, I'm furious. And this is the exact moment where nice girl on a nature date ends, and vengeful, petty goddess begins. There's a particular kind of humiliation that only comes from waiting for someone who has no intention of coming back. And there I was, standing by the checkout counters at Best Buy, pretending I wasn't being actively abandoned by a man I had just spent an hour hiking with, like a scene out of a soft launch romance movie. I checked my phone again, still nothing. Text, not delivered. Call, went straight to voicemail. Socials, still showing active, but no new notifications. At this point I was still giving him some benefit of the doubt. I thought, okay, maybe he got a phone call. Maybe there was an emergency. Maybe he's in the parking lot dealing with something. Sure. I just ignore the rising heat in my cheeks, and the growing pit in my stomach. So I walked outside again, looked around the lot, no car, stared at the space where we parked like it might magically fill itself again. Maybe he went to grab something. Maybe he looped around. Nope, nothing. So I went back inside, hoping this was some giant misunderstanding, the kind that ends with laughter and oh my god, I didn't know you were out here. Instead I ended up talking to the poor kid working at the front. Hey, weird question, but did you see a guy leave recently? About 6 feet, dark jacket. Looks like he's not emotionally mature enough to go on a walk with someone without fleeing into the void. The guy blinked and said, yeah, I think I saw him run out like 10 minutes ago. Run. Out. So not only did this man leave me at Best Buy, he sprinted out the door like I was the final boss of accountability. At this point something snapped. No more benefit of the doubt. No more waiting. No more internal monologue of maybe he's just bad at communication. He left me, midday, at a chain electronics store, 20 minutes from my house, with no money offer, no excuse, and no damn decency. And the worst part, some of my stuff, lip balm, charger, hair clip, water bottle was still in his car. Nothing major, nothing I couldn't replace. But now it wasn't about the stuff, it was the audacity. The nerve to ghost someone not over text but in real time, to just vanish. So I pulled out my phone, opened Uber, and rode home in stunned silence, equal parts embarrassed and enraged. And somewhere between that parking lot and my front door, I made a decision. If you're going to be bold enough to strand me in public, then I'm going to be bold enough to make sure your entire family finds out what kind of man you really are. You wanted to go low? Cool, I'll go low. I will never forget the moment that Best Buy employee told me, yeah, I saw him, he ran out a while ago, looked like he was in a hurry. In a hurry? Sir, you didn't just leave a date, you fled like you robbed the Geek Squad and heard sirens. The reality of it finally settled in. This man, who invited me on this date, who picked the park, who drove us around like some discount Nicholas Sparks character, didn't even have the decency to fake a reason. No emergency, no call, no this isn't working. He just did. I got into my Uber feeling like I'd been hit by a reality check and a frying pan at the same time. The ride home, quiet, long. My driver made small talk about the weather while I stared out the window, wondering what level of trash a person has to be to ditch someone they brought themselves. And once I got home, the emotional roller coaster really started doing loops. At first I felt embarrassed. I replayed the whole date in my head wondering what I missed. Was I too boring? Did I say something wrong? Did I have spinach in my teeth? But the thing is, no, I wasn't the problem. I looked like my pictures. I was polite, engaged, respectful. I even offered to pay for dinner, which we never made it to, by the way, because apparently my company didn't qualify for food. The more I sat with it, the angrier I got. Not just at him, at the idea that people like him get away with this, that you can invite someone out, share a car, drive them out of town, and then just vanish like a coward who thinks ghosting in real life is some sort of cute personality trait. And let me be very clear. This wasn't some mutual bad vibe. This wasn't we both felt off so we wrapped it up early. This man bailed mid-date, with my things still in his back seat and not even a message. And then cherry on top, when I tried to text him later that night, blocked. Phone, blocked. Instagram, gone. Snapchat, poof. It was like I'd been scrubbed from his entire digital existence. And that was the moment I knew. This wasn't about closure. This wasn't about getting an apology or even getting my things back. This was about making sure someone who moves this shady doesn't get to do it in the dark. Because if you're bold enough to leave me behind like an Amazon return, then I'm bold enough to hit you where it actually hurts. Your public image. Nothing says guilty coward quite like blocking someone before they even get a chance to ask what DTF was that. I wasn't trying to start a fight, I wasn't even sure I wanted to hear from him, but out of sheer instinct, and yeah, maybe just a flicker of hope that he'd say something anything remotely human, I opened my phone when I got home and sent a simple text. Hey, not sure what happened, are you okay? Boom. Not delivered. I tried again, opened Instagram, typed his name, gone. Snapchat, also gone. Blocked, blocked, blocked. Like I was some ex-girlfriend chasing him down when in reality, I was the woman he stranded at a strip mall. This man blocked me like he was the victim. Like I had done something to him by expecting basic decency on a first date. No explanation, no sorry, no you said something weird, just full erasure, like I never existed. Except my half-empty water bottle, lip balm and charger still existed in his car, and at that moment it clicked. He didn't just ditch me, he was hoping I'd be too embarrassed to say anything, that I'd crawl away quietly, tell no one, and let the moment fade into memory like a deleted app. But that's not who I am. You don't leave me in a parking lot, drive off, block me like you're protecting your peace, and expect me to go full silent mode. Absolutely not. And sure, I could have let it go, could have written it off as just another trash date, but no, this wasn't just disrespectful, it was dangerous. He stranded me, in a store, with no ride, no heads up, no idea where I was, what I needed, or how I'd get home. It wasn't just immature, it was selfish, it was reckless, and since he clearly didn't have the balls to take accountability, I decided to drop that accountability right at his family's doorstep, literally. Well, digitally, but you get the point. Because if you block me, that's fine, but you better hope I don't find your relatives. Spoiler. And if you think I wouldn't politely introduce myself to your older sister with a full rundown of your garbage behavior, you clearly haven't met me. So let's recap. He blocked me, left me stranded at a Best Buy, kept my stuff, ran like a coward and thought that would be the end of it. Adorable. See, most people would have just vented to a group chat, eaten some ice cream, maybe rage posted a TikTok. But I went full digital detective mode, because if you slam the door on me, I'll walk around and knock on your sister's window. It started with the usual sleuthing, reverse searching his username, checking old tagged photos, digging through the likes on posts he hadn't locked down. Took me less than 15 minutes to find a woman who shared his last name and looked like she could be his sister. She had public posts, normal stuff, dog pics, a couple family brunch selfies, but what caught my eye? A tagged photo of him, same hair, same outfit from the day we went out. Caption, can't believe you're finally 19, love you little bro. Bingo. I didn't rage message. I didn't send a manifesto. I was strategic. I wrote a calm, articulate message that went something like, hey, sorry to bother you, I believe you're his name's sister. I went on a date with him yesterday, and unfortunately he left me at a store 20 minutes from home with no warning, no explanation, and has since blocked me on everything. I'm not reaching out to start drama. I just wanted to let someone in his life know because I still had personal items in his car, and I was honestly concerned when I didn't hear back. I appreciate your time, short, civil, controlled, but absolutely loaded with implication. It took her less than an hour to reply. OMG, what? I am so sorry. That is completely unacceptable. I had no idea. I will talk to him immediately. Also, please send me your address. I will make sure you get your things back, and if you had to pay for your ride, let me know. I'll reimburse you. Boom. That right there. That was the realest apology I got from anyone connected to this walking red flag. She was kind, embarrassed, didn't try to defend him, didn't try to blame me, didn't say maybe there was a misunderstanding, just owned it, which told me everything. This wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't an off day. This was who he is, and if I had to be the one to put his family on notice, so be it, because next time he tries to disappear on someone, he'll think twice before assuming we'll just go quiet, and he definitely won't forget the girl who turned his little ditch and block move into a family reunion he didn't ask for. You know what's wild? How someone can block you, act like you never existed, and still end up looking like a clown, all thanks to their own family. His sister was an MV. From the second she read my message, she didn't hesitate. No, I'm sure there's two sides. No, he probably just panicked. No, what exactly did you say to him? None of that, just instant outrage and a whole lot of I'm so sorry. That's seriously not okay. He needs to grow the hell up. Apparently this wasn't the first time he'd pulled some emotionally unavailable, and conveniently unreachable stunt. But leaving a girl in public with no warning, that was new, even for him, and she made it clear. She was embarrassed to be related to him, embarrassed that someone had to reach out and say, "Hey, your brother abandoned me behind a Best Buy, like I was a half-eaten burrito." She asked for my address, and promised to personally make sure I got my stuff back. I told her it's nothing major, but I'd appreciate it. What I didn't say out loud, it wasn't about the stuff, it was about the message. And that message was, I'm not the one. He might have thought blocking me would erase me from his life. But no, now his sister knows. Now there's a record. Now his own blood had to pick up after his mess, because he couldn't handle a conversation like a functioning adult. 2 days later, I came home and found a familiar grocery bag on my front lawn. Inside, my things: hair clip, lip balm, water bottle, all casually thrown together like he couldn't even be bothered to place them on the porch. Classy. There were no texts, no notes, no apologies, just the unmistakable energy of a man who was mad he got caught. He didn't say a word, but the message was loud and clear. Fine. Here, take your stuff and stop ruining my life. And honestly, that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't need closure. I didn't need him to explain his fragile little ego or whatever coward fantasy he was playing out by ghosting me in real time. I got my things. I got my Uber paid for. I got his own family to see him for who he really was. And most importantly, I got my dignity back, hand-delivered through his sister's apology and his angry little toss-it-in-the-yard tantrum. It was petty, it was immature, and it was perfect. Because you can block me online, but you'll never block the reputation you earn. There's something so poetically pathetic about a grown man driving to someone's house, not to apologize, not to make things right, but to chuck a grocery bag full of personal items into their front yard like a toddler who didn't get a second juice box. When I saw the bag, I actually laughed, because at that point there was no anger left, just second-hand embarrassment for him. It was such a textbook move. He'd been called out, confronted, and couldn't control the narrative anymore, so he threw a fit. Literally. I opened the bag, and sure enough, there was everything I'd mentioned. My lip balm, my charger, even my reusable water bottle that I actually liked. Nothing damaged, just thrown in with zero care. No note, no wrap-up text, not even a fake "hope you're well" scribbled on a napkin. No, just a passive-aggressive bag dump, and a man-child probably speeding off, like he'd just done something powerful. And look, I'm not saying I expected an apology at this point, I knew better. But what I wasn't expecting was how much joy I felt watching him unravel. Because the moment he had to face the consequences, the moment his sister found out, the moment I didn't beg for answers or forgiveness, the moment he realized I wasn't going to disappear quietly, he panicked. He couldn't block that part. He couldn't mute his sister's disappointment. He couldn't unsend the message I sent her. He couldn't delete the way I made him feel. Small, exposed, and finally held accountable for the way he treated someone who did nothing but go on a walk and trust him. This wasn't just revenge, it was balance. He tried to ghost me like I was some forgettable mistake. Instead, he ended up on the receiving end of one of the pettiest, most peaceful call-outs of his life, and his family had front row seats. I didn't scream, I didn't blast him online, I didn't beg, plead, or spiral. I handled it like a woman who knows her worth, and also knows how to Google stalk your entire family tree in under 10 minutes. And let me tell you, watching him toss that bag in my yard like it would somehow make this all go away, it was hilarious, it was weak, and it was the final nail in his "no one will ever find out" fantasy. Because while he drove off, probably blasting breakup music like he was the victim, I sat in my house, sipping tea, charger in hand, edges unbothered, knowing I'd just executed the cleanest petty takedown of my dating life. He thought I'd be crushed. He thought I'd sit by my phone, wondering what I did wrong, replaying every second of the date, and spiraling into self-blame. He really truly believed that leaving me at Best Buy like a forgotten shopping cart would leave me devastated. But let me clear something up, and I hope someone sends this to him one day. I don't fall apart. I take notes. And then, I act accordingly. Because while he was ghosting me in real life, I was archiving receipts. While he was running out the door like a scared raccoon, I was filing away every red flag. While he was blocking me like a child hitting mute on a remote, I was rerouting the message, straight to someone who would listen. And the best part,
I didn't even have to raise my voice. I didn't call him names. I didn't cuss him out in his DMs. I didn't show up to his house or blast his name online. I let his actions speak. Then I let his sister respond. And then I let him stew in the silence while I got my things back, my money refunded, and my peace restored. Because it wasn't about being hurt. It was about being underrated. He expected a meltdown. He got a mute button. He expected chaos. He got clarity, and a follow-up from someone in his own damn bloodline saying, "Yeah man, that was seriously messed up." I never needed an apology from him. He'd already proven he wasn't man enough to give one. But knowing he had to deal with the awkwardness of explaining to his sister why she had to play errand girl for the woman he abandoned, that was worth every minute I spent waiting outside that Best Buy. He'll never say my name out loud again, but he'll remember the girl who didn't cry, didn't chase, didn't give him a single inch of the emotional drama he was probably hoping for, because what he got instead was a lesson, one that came wrapped in a calm message, delivered through a family connection, and topped off with a grocery bag of shame hurled onto my lawn. And me, I slept like a baby, charger plugged in, water bottle refilled, petty spirit satisfied. He never responded. No apology, no explanation, no "hey sorry I bailed on you mid-date" like a complete goblin. Just silence, the kind that men like him think is power, when really, it's just proof they have nothing intelligent to say. And that's fine, because silence doesn't protect you from accountability. If anything, it confirms it. He thought ghosting me would give him control, that if he stayed quiet I'd eventually forget, move on, and pretend it never happened. He probably assumed I'd be too embarrassed to tell anyone, that I'd eat the humiliation and disappear into the void like so many women before me have been trained to do. But what he forgot is that not everyone stays quiet. Some of us tell the story, some of us expose the pattern, some of us loop in your big sister and make sure your little dating stunt turns into a full-blown family investigation. You left me in a parking lot like I didn't matter, so I made sure the one place where your ego still did matter, your family, saw you for exactly who you are, not in anger, not in tears, just facts, delivered with precision, and a smile. You tossed my things like trash. Cute. I turned your tantrum into a personal PSA. You blocked me like I was some problem to delete. Adorable. I became the girl your sister will always side-eye you about, the one who made her ask, "What is wrong with you?" I didn't need revenge. I got reputation, yours, to be specific. And whether or not you ever say a word to me again, you'll always know, I didn't just get left behind, I got even. So no, I don't want an apology now, I don't want closure, and I definitely don't want to see your name pop up ever again, because while you stayed silent, I walked away louder than ever, charger in hand, dignity intact, and one hell of a story that you will never live down.